Living by the motto all or nothing, penetrating into the depths and bringing out the hidden while being piercing and quite radical, imbued by deep passion and strong desire, in extreme cases, very jealous? Do you have these characteristic traits typical for Scorpio? Do you know people in your social context who express these qualities? In this video, we will tell you about the zodiacal sign of Scorpio and its meaning in your horoscope, and especially about the basic characteristics of Scorpio according to Qabbalistic astrology. At the end of this video, we will give you a short and clear summary of all the key facts about Scorpio you will need to know for astrological interpretation. Brotherhood of the Eternal Light, teaching the Western mysteries. The zodiacal sign of Scorpio. Mars rules with Pluto greedy Scorpio, and death's already at the door. The astrological symbol of Scorpio shows a stylized scorpion with its tail and its stinger. The sun moves through Scorpio every year from approximately October 22nd to 23rd to November to 20th, 21st. Scorpio is a water sign with fixed quality. Autumn is now in full swing. The trees have changed color and the wind blows down their leaves and drives rainfalls over the land. The climax or main phase of the autumn season corresponds to the fixed quality of the water element, i.e. the expressive form of the element where its principle is most evident. The water element is described as absorbing, purifying, and shaping. Water is a natural solvent. The cleansing, dissolving, and shaping power corresponds to the principle of decomposing and transforming. In nature, this becomes obvious in autumn when plants decompose, leaving behind nutrients and energy. In this way, leaves covering the soil decay and participate in a natural composting process, later serving as fertilizer. The process of transformation, i.e. the transition from one state to another, is also symbolically associated with dying, the process of becoming and passing away. From a spiritual point of view, death is not the end, but the beginning of a new phase. Another fitting image is the stinger of a scorpion, which illustrates the radicalism of the astrological sign Scorpio, as well as the aspect of transition or dying by transformation through the potentially deadly poison of some scorpions. In the symbolism of the Western mysteries, the scorpion also corresponds to the sea eagle, which is assigned in the temple to the direction of the west and to the water element. The holy eagle corresponds to the higher spiritual form of the scorpion and is one of the four holy beings of the Chayot HaKodesh, which are also in the seal of the Brotherhood of the Eternal Light, and refers to the angelic beings in the vision of Ezekiel, in which they carry the throne of God. The sea eagle symbolizes, among other things, the quality of insight, since he sees under the surface of the water and therefore gets to the bottom of things. In contrast to the astrological sign of Taurus, which is opposite to Scorpio in the radix, and which is about holding and forming, and which is also directed towards the material world with its sense of reality, Scorpio is about setting transformative processes in motion and advance into the depths of the human soul. Thus, the ideal of Scorpio is the release of hidden potentials and energies. The potential problems of Scorpio are jealousy and desire. Scorpio likes to behave in a radical way and may follow the motto, all or nothing. The 8th house corresponds to Scorpio. The 8th house is about the conversion of matter into energy, that is to say, about sexuality, healing, and death. Basic Kabbalistic meaning. Scorpio is associated with the tarot card Death, which, among other things, stands for a radical transformation. It symbolizes the definitive entry into a new state, as it is the case with true initiation in the tradition of the Western mysteries. Death is also a metaphor here. It is not only about the dying of the physical body, but also about a definitive transformation. As Goethe once poetically expressed it, "Until you have possessed dying and rebirth, you are but a sullen guest on the gloomy earth." At the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, we find the assignment of the zodiac sign Scorpio on the 24th path, which leads from Tiferet to Netzach. For further information on Qabbalah, visit our online courses or workshops, link in the description. Mythology of Scorpio. In Greek mythology, we find different legends about Orion, a great hunter who, depending on the specific tale, incurred the wrath of the earth goddess Gaia or Artemis, the goddess of the hunt and of the moon. and was attacked by a very venomous scorpion, which stabbed him in the heel and killed him. According to another legend, Orion crushed the scorpion before it could sting him. Both Orion and the scorpion were finally placed as constellations in the sky, so far away from each other that they could never meet. When one constellation rises in the sky, the other one disappears. Dignities of Scorpio. Scorpio is the domicile of Mars, its old ruler, and the domicile of Pluto, its new ruler. The spiritual principle underlying Mars at the Kabbalistic Tree of Life is the Sephirah Gevurah. Gevurah represents the principle of courage and power. The basic power of Mars, energy and willpower, can unfold particularly well in Scorpio, which is about desire and radical delving into the depths in order to set transformative processes in motion, because the power and energy of Mars are helpful to implement these pervasive processes. The spiritual principle which underlies Pluto at the Kabbalistic Tree of Life is the Sephirah Keter. Keter represents the principle of the Absolute. Pluto is about the connection to the highest divine source of power and about quality, to uncompromisingly strive for the best. The power of Pluto can unfold particularly well in Scorpio because it allows the ideal of Scorpio, which consists in releasing hidden potentials and energies for transformative development, to unfold itself fully. Scorpio is the exile of Venus. The spiritual principle which underlies Venus at the Kabbalistic Tree of Life is the Sephirah Netzach. Netzach represents the principle of creative thinking. In radical Scorpio, the basic power of Venus, which is about the harmonious mastery of the forces of nature and of emotions, finds no adequate expression, since Scorpio is about a radical transformation, similar to a dying process. Scorpio is the exaltation of Uranus. The spiritual principle which underlies Uranus at the Tree of Life is the Sephirah Dot. Dot represents the principle of the transformative knowledge. Therefore, in radical Scorpio, which is about the ideal of releasing hidden potentials, Uranus can adequately express its impulse for further development and strives for change. The transformative strength of Uranus can express and unfold itself perfectly. Scorpio is the sign in which the moon is in its fall. The spiritual principle which underlies the moon at the Tree of Life is the Sephirah Yesod. Yesod represents the principle of the subconsciousness. The moon cannot express itself adequately in Scorpio because its sensitive and receptive quality can, through the process of radical transformation and release of hidden potentials, lead to emotional fluctuations and emotional suggestibility. And now we present a brief summary of the most important astrological facts about the zodiac sign Scorpio. The astrological symbol of Scorpio shows a stylized scorpion with its tail and its stinger. The sun moves through Scorpio every year from approximately October 22nd to November 20th. Scorpio is a water sign with fixed quality. The ideal of Scorpio is the release of hidden potentials and energies. The potential problems of Scorpio are jealousy and desire. The 8th house corresponds to the zodiacal sign of Scorpio. The 8th house contains the areas of sexuality, healing, and death. The 8th house is about the conversion of matter into energy. In Scorpio, Mars and Pluto are in their domicile, and Venus is in its exile. Uranus is exalted, and the moon is in its fall. These were the most important contents about the sign of Scorpio. Have a look at our videos about the other zodiacal signs. Were you born between October 22nd and November 22nd? Do you have several planets in the sign of Scorpio in your birth chart, or in the 8th house? And how do these constellations affect you? And maybe you know somebody who you would describe as a typical Scorpio personality. Please tell us more about it in the comments. Find out more about the Qabbalah in our free online course, or visit our website with additional free content. You can find the links in our video description. Also check out our astrology playlist. If you enjoyed this video, please support us by giving us a like and subscribe to our channel. If you don't want to miss any new videos, then activate the bell. Thank you, and see you soon in our next video.